Hi friends, my name is Sarah Emerson and I'm the Director of Creative Learning at Garner Holt Education Through Imagination. Today we are partnering with Mansion Memories to present the Making It Magical presentation. Mansion Memories is a nonprofit that puts on memorable programs for kids in crisis. Since COVID, they haven't been able to put on live events. However, they have been able to create magical memories every week virtually, and we're very excited to be the next installment. So let's get started. One of the things that we do at Garner Holt Education Through Imagination is we support schools and other organizations with building very creative learning spaces. In those spaces that we call animaker spaces, we build a traditional maker space, which is kind of like a wood shop meets modern technology. So a typical maker space will have power tools, crafting materials, as well as some really cool machines like 3D printers, laser cutters, vacuum formers. And what we do at Education Through Imagination is we go another step further by adding animatronics into the room. We are a part of Garner Holt Productions, which is the world's leading manufacturer of theme park animatronics. And so at Garner Holt Education Through Imagination, we study the work of all of the wonderful engineers and technicians and artists at Garner Holt Productions, and we create powerful, exciting learning experiences for kids based on the study of animatronics. When students are able to have their hands on all kinds of machinery and equipment and materials, they can take their imaginations wherever they want to go. And so our animaker spaces are spaces where kids can use their imagination to create any type of world or character, story, anything that they want to create. We teach students how to use the design process to come up with innovative ideas and creative projects that they would like to complete. And then they have all of the machinery and software and equipment to be able to build their ideas out. So it starts with a design, and we help kids brainstorm their ideas. We help them sketch their designs, and then we can help them digitally create their designs in 2 dimensions or 3 dimensions. And then we help kids prototype their designs by either 3D printing their prototypes, laser cutting their prototypes, or just using raw materials to build out the prototype of their design. We have students share their prototypes, get feedback, iterate, and make better. We really encourage creative thinking and creative expression throughout the entire process. So many of our students' projects have impactful stories that can be translated into some sort of animatronic show, which is one of the most exciting parts of our animaker spaces, is that they are built with animatronics in the room, and students can learn how to create animatronic shows, which include a variety of STEAM learning. And STEAM stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And so when students are learning all of these different topics integrated and not in isolation, it becomes a really powerful learning experience. A lot of the people that work at Garner Holt Productions are experts in the field of art, and a lot of them know how to do digital designing, digital sculpting, graphic design, and all of those things involve a computer. And so if you enjoy doing hand drawings or hand art or sculpting, it's really important to stay on top of the industry by also learning how to create those things digitally. And so one of the ways that we help students become digital artists is we have them create designs in a graphic design program, and then students can actually laser cut those designs with our laser cutter on various materials such as wood, plastic, aluminum, and other fun materials. So this is Deacon, and Deacon is one of the students in our program, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the laser cutter, which is this machine right here. And I'm going to talk a little bit about a project that Deacon has done on the laser cutter. But first, Deacon, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What school do you go to? What grade are you in?
I go to Redlands East Valley High School, and I am in 9th grade.
And Deacon, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to work for NASA.
Okay, so why are you here in our Education Through Imagination program?
Because I'm really interested in technology and engineering, like creating laser cutting a project like this.
Yeah, so Deacon, you were able to create this design in CorelDRAW, which is a graphic design program. And then he is able to send it to the computer, which sends it to the laser cutter. And the laser cutter works with a fine tip laser of fire that basically burns out the design. Do you want to explain a little bit more about how the machine works?
So first you would place the wood in its designated area. Then you would move the laser on this to make sure it is going to cut out exactly where you want to cut out, because it's not good to have it offset. And then it would do most of it. Then it will just do all the cutting by itself, and then when it's finished, you'll just bring this out, and then it's finished. This is a little name tag. It has my name on it and a few logos I decided to put on it.
Have you ever wondered how the different animals and characters you see at a theme park get their realistic shape? Well, it often happens from a digital artist sculpting a design, and then at Garner Holt Productions, we print those designs, and then we create what's called a plastic shell over those printed designs. And the machine that we use to do that is a vacuum former, and we include vacuum formers in our animaker spaces for kids to learn how to use as well. And so kids can learn how to use a vacuum forming machine to create shells for their animatronics, and from there students are able to learn how to do airbrushing techniques, painting techniques, and other sewing and costuming techniques to be able to create a really awesome, realistic, and lifelike figure out of their project. This machine is the vacuum former, and the way that it works is it has a really hot piece right here, which I refer to as the oven. I don't know if that's the technical name for it, but that's what I call it. And so this oven piece right here will heat up plastic until it's really soft like a balloon. And then once it's really soft like a balloon, the plastic, which is secured, so a plastic like this, will be secured underneath this frame. This oven will come up over it and heat up the plastic until it's really soft like a balloon. Once it's really soft like a balloon, we push this back, we press the button, and a really, really powerful suction of air will pull that hot plastic over a shape that's already been placed inside. And then once it cools, you end up with a new shape for your plastic. So in this case, we had a car mold that was placed. The plastic heated up, it suctioned over the mold, and then we were left with this design, in which case students can use something like this as the cover for a project that they might be working on. Welcome to the Creative Learning Lab at Garner Holt Education Through Imagination. Here in our Creative Learning Lab, we support students with their distance learning, as well as provide STEAM enrichment, social emotional learning, and daily physical activity. This is our big classroom where we have another one of our programs at Garner Holt Education Through Imagination. So the Creative Learning Lab is a fairly new program that was designed to support families in our local community with the struggles of distance learning. And so here in the Creative Learning Lab, we have physically distanced and individualized learning stations for each child, and each child is able to come come here in the morning, do all of their virtual instruction here with the support of our education team, and in which we help them get logged into their classes every day. We help support them during their live instruction, and we help support them after their live instruction with all of their independent work that they need to do. And what's awesome is that as soon as they're done with all of that, then they have the rest of our education building as their playground and inspiration for creating other really awesome STEAM projects. And so as you can see, we have kids doing some coding and animatronics projects in here, and the students have a lot of fun. It has been a really great opportunity for us at Garner Holt Education through Imagination to be able to fill a need in the community and be creative with our own business as well.
I am working on the lights and rotation, working on programming the lights and rotation that will be inside an animated swinging pumpkin. My favorite part of coding would probably be programming the lights to turn on, especially the tri-LED light, which has a combination of the red, green, and blue lights, and when you combine them, they make different colors.
Hi, my name is Joanna Nelson, and I am the Director of Marketing and Development for Garner Holt Education through Imagination. I'm really excited to tell you about our new foundation that started just this year. Right now, we're in a place called Garners Garage. Now I have to tell you a great story about this. Garner started his Garner Holt Productions, which is a huge city block across the street, huge building, couple Costco's. When he was just 16 years old, in his parents' garage, we took that concept, his parents' garage, because it was a place that he could dream and imagine and make anything that he could think of. And we took that concept and we wanted to make that available to kids and dreamers and innovators of all ages. And we're going to, like I said, this is new, we're going to turn all of this into a giant makerspace. There's going to be animatronics, there's going to be sewing machines, airbrush stations, 3D printers, CNC machines. This place is so nice and big that it's a great place to have events and programs, after school programs, or maybe helping that innovator out in the community who's got a really great idea but doesn't have the resources or technology or even know-how to make a prototype. So we don't want to have any really great ideas go to waste. Now, I'm going to show you two of my favorite things about the animatronics. It doesn't necessarily have to do exactly with Garner's Garage, but I'm going to show you over here. You remember Sparky? Well, Sparky wears children's size 3T, and we can dress Sparky, we can put skin on him, and this is a story of Vincent van Gogh. And we can do all these props, and so robotics becomes alive. So we start out with the basic skin and programming, and then there could be somebody working collaboratively to come up with a script, and then somebody else doing the costume design, just like you would in a movie. And all this kind of creative collaboration cannot be found anywhere else except in animatronics. I do want to show you this over here. He's in the garage because he hurt his beak. But Sparky doesn't have to be a person. Sparky, this is hockey, and like I say, he hurt his beak. He tells a story, and he's even got feathers. Just like in Garner Holt Productions, there's a whole room just called skins. Every type of fur imaginable, feathers, skin. It's very cool. This is the other mouse, we like to say, but this is Chuck E. Cheese. And Chuck E. Cheese is where Garner Holt really made a huge breakthrough, I believe in the 1980s, when he redesigned the whole lot of them. And this one was used, this is a form used for costuming. Now how fun would that be to figure out a new costume for Chuck E. Cheese? This is a kit that high school students or really anybody could put together, and you'll see it's really simple. It starts out really simple. It's just a stool, and then we put some other things on it, and it can do two things. It can move its head like this, and it can move one arm, I believe, maybe both arms. And then we can dress it, and we can put an iPad with a face recording on the top, and he can tell a story just like he was in a pirate show at your favorite theme park. But do you see how much fun it can just start out this way, and then your imagination can just go crazy? We are so excited for this foundation. We want to make this type of fun and innovation available to everybody in the community. This foundation is going to be free of charge, and it's going to be a place of innovation for anyone.
My name is Bill Tynan. I'm a Director of Education here at Garner Holt Education Through Imagination. We wear a lot of different hats here and participate in all of the different programs that we offer. But primarily my role is to oversee our secondary, which is high school, post-secondary, which is anything after high school, and workforce development programs, the last of which is dedicated to really supporting students in finding ways that they can take their interests, talents, and passions into a career as adults. And so what I'd really like to talk to you about today are some of the programs that we're currently facilitating in this time of virtual learning and distance learning. And so to do that, I would just give you a little bit of background and let you know that prior to the coronavirus pandemic, here at Education Through Imagination, we were hosting anywhere between, 75 to 150 kids a day for different experiential learning opportunities. And so a lot of those were field trips. We'd have students coming into Garner Holt Productions, touring our factory, learning about what it takes to build an animatronic, talking with the artisans and technicians that are doing that work. And then when the tour is over, we're coming back together and we are working on a hands-on activity kit together. And each one of these activity kits emulate a different aspect of animatronics creation. So some of the kits are focused on design and engineering, other kits focused on more the art side of things. Well, once the pandemic struck, all of our in-person programming had to come to a halt. And like so many businesses and so many different places, we really had to put our heads together and figure out what we were going to do to reimagine and reinvent ourselves for the way things are currently being done, which is, of course, like I said, through distance learning. So what we've done, what we put together over the summer, was a really exciting platform through which we could continue bringing students and educators really meaningful experiences. So the good news is that we are now today offering virtual field trips to Garner Holt Productions. And what that looks like is a lot of what I just described to you, but instead of coming in person, we're able to beam right into students' distance learning classrooms through Zoom or Microsoft Teams or through Google Classroom, come right into their class, bring them a virtual tour of our production factory, still walking around through the different departments, still talking about the different jobs and careers required to make an animatronic, but doing it virtually. And the exciting thing is that we're still able to maintain a live component through the chat feature. So while the tour guide is showing a class around the production factory, students can ask questions into the chat and we can answer those questions, whether it's the tour guide answering them or our staff member back in the control room. We're able to have that live virtual interaction, which is so important. After the tour is completed, under normal circumstances, we'd all come together in the same room to work on one of those activity kits that I mentioned, which, by the way, we call our Animatronics Fundamentals kits. Well, we're not coming together in person to do that, but what we are doing is shipping those kits out before the field trip, with enough time so that they can be either distributed to students at the school site through, say, a grab-and-go event, or we're shipping those kits directly to students' homes. And we're doing it with enough time that every student has what they need, so when the virtual field trip happens and the tour has come to an end, they've got their materials right there in front of them, and we can actually facilitate the same activity through the distance learning platform. What's really exciting about it is that we feel we're bridging the gap actually between distance learning, which is done through the screen, and hands-on learning, which requires tangible experiences. And so our hope is that that can really, like I said, bridge this gap that's been created with distance learning. And that isn't to say that distance learning is the problem. Distance learning is what's required right now for us to stay safe and for our lives to move forward in the smoothest way possible. But what we think is that students really are eager to put their hands back on physical materials. Watching your class through the screen is a challenge, and doing it over a long period of time increases that challenge. So again, having something that's very interactive and hands-on and leaves students with a kit that is theirs, that they can show their brother and sister and their parents, and that they can put on their shelves, something that lasts beyond the end of the tour. And so this is what we're doing right now. We're doing virtual experiences. In addition to the field trip, we're actually facilitating a lot of our workshops through distance learning as well. And some of these workshops are focused on animated robotics, which is basically a platform that teaches students how to use block coding to program motors and sensors and lights, and ultimately to create art that moves. This was a program that we did in person before, and we're now doing it virtually, and the response has been really fantastic. In addition, another program that we facilitate is called Invention Literacy, and so we're teaching students how they can use principles of electric circuits to really create anything that they can imagine. So really exciting opportunities to keep kids and educators involved in their learning, to keep them active in their learning, while basically figuring out how to use the distance learning platform to its best advantage. Well, and so some of you might be wondering, what does it take to get inside Garner Holt Productions factory and to get a glimpse at this world of animatronics and how they're created, and how do you move from concept to creation, or excuse me, from concept to completion? And so the good news is that in this time of distance learning and virtual learning, we're able to offer you a virtual tours for the general public into Garner Holt Productions. And so what you can do is you can visit our website, you can go to the shop category or the shop page, and there you will find information about our once-a-month virtual tours. You can buy a ticket and you can come with us behind the curtain into GHP and really walk away with a really good understanding of how these incredible robotic machines come to life, how they create that illusion of life, and all the different roles and responsibilities required to achieve that. So please join us. We'd love to have you along. And again, you can book your own tour by visiting our website. We are so happy to be here, so happy to still be in this community, and so happy to still be serving. We are all educators. In our previous lives, we were working as educators on public school campuses, and we're still educators today, just in a different environment and in a different way. And so we have a huge appreciation for the teachers out there, school leaders, counselors, instructional aides, all of the educators who are really working hard to figure this out, to figure out how they can provide the best experiences possible for their students under some challenging conditions. And we have a ton of respect and appreciation for all the families out there who are doing the same thing. And so really a pleasure to be part of this experience with Mansion Memories. Thank you for your time and your interest in what we're doing, and we're here to serve. Our goal is to be of significant value to education and to really help kids through hands-on experiences learn about what's out there and to get excited about what's out there and to actually feel more hopeful for their future because now they know about possibilities that they may not have been aware of before.